Hello, Mandamu.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Looking forward to this.
Yay. Me too.
Yeah. Well, can you introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Mandamu, as you've said, Mandamu Mayowe. I have a strange name. It's not local to Zambians, so I'm the only Zambian I know with it at this point. So I'm Mandamu Mayowe. I'm from Zambia. I have a brother, and it's just the two of us in my family. I'm a public relations practitioner, and I like to run.
You made me curious. What does Mandamu mean?
I've been trying to find out. I really have been. I have a theory. Genuinely, I think it was Madam, and it was just passed down from someone else. So they must have called her Mandam in her village. I have no idea.
Madam became Mandamu.
Yeah.
Okay, well noted.
Madam Mandam. That's the running joke.
So you're special all the way. And you like to run. And you're a public health professional. Oh, I'm sorry.
Public relations
Public relations professional.
Yep.
You seem extremely shy to me. And I'm just trying to find the link between Mandamu, shy, reserved, and public relations, which is very outward facing and extrovert. How did that happen?
Luckily, I don't have to be as extroverted as people expect when practicing public relations. Obviously, it's a front-facing job, but you just have to deliver with honesty and be interactive with your audiences. And for public relations, I also didn't expect to be in this job per se, but I ended up here. I went to apply for law economics, and my filler course was mass communication, and I didn't even know what it was about. But for the first 2 years, I was doing journalism, I was doing media ethics, and it was a lot of training to speak to people, and no matter how shy you were going to be picked on anyway. Mm-hmm. And in third year, I got into public relations, and I absolutely fell in love with it, and I chose to do it. So it's quite fun. At least I get to show up as myself.
You feel you found your home?
I do. I really do.
And where do you work?
I work at the National Water Supply and Sanitation Council. It's always a mouthful. You have to say NWASCO.
And that's even a stronger jump because one, you're a very reserved person and you found a field that's outward facing, but you found your voice there. Mm-hmm. And then you go and work in one of the unsexiest topic that people could think of. I think it's sanitation is quite the field and quite sexy, but it's not necessarily the thing that a young woman that's doing PR feels at home with. Why are you there, and do you find purpose in what you do?
There's nothing as sexy as fecal matter, I promise you. I promise
Said that
you.
Way. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think it's just a topic that's very relevant, no matter how you see it. And it's definitely difficult to communicate sanitation in any space because it's so technical. And a lot of the interventions that do happen, even with my particular organization, it's a very technical field. And having the person who actually is a beneficiary of these interventions that you're trying to carry out, understand exactly where you want them to go, where they are, and how to get them there is quite the fun part in the communications aspect of it. You find yourself trying to explain how to change habits versus being in meetings that are just talking about the ventilated pit latrines or the actual technical work. So it's very interesting to just sit down and see how do we get this person from A to B, because they're the beneficiaries and they do need communications. I think it's very interesting to be in our offices and see how communication is perceived, but how to work together and make sure that the community understands what you're doing in this field. So I found my place there.
Have you encountered an incident where you saw really the need for communication or PR around sanitation?
Often, actually, very often, because sanitation in itself in our country, and in my sector particularly, where we regulate the service delivery of water supply and sanitation, it came about 2020 for us as a mandate. So we're trying to get people to understand the need to have their pit latrines emptied, the need to take sanitation as their own responsibility, and not wait for the government or wait for reactive measures that we usually have when we have outbreaks it comes back to emergency funds, it comes back to this. But at the core of it, it's a problem that the community has to bear as their own and try to fix. So recently, we have cholera almost every year, and it's very sad to say. We actually call it an annual ceremony.
Wow.
Because every other year you have an outbreak, and the most recent one we had was 2023, 2024, where we lost about 700 lives.
Wow.
And we had over 20,000 people having cholera in our country. So you see governments, partners, cooperating people coming through and bringing in these interventions. They're buying chlorine, they're bringing water bowsers to the communities. You're seeing so much happening. And when cholera happens, I failed to mention, you have rain and you have floods, and people will say it's climate change, but it's not. It's the infrastructure systems, it's the behaviors around the way people dump their sanitation, the toilet use that they use. So recently it was flooding in Lusaka, the capital city actually. And I saw a video. I was just scrolling through TikTok, I saw a video. And for some reason, I just wanted to stay and watch. There was floods in Kanyama, it's a slum in my area. And there were floods. And what you could see immediately, you're thinking this, as you hear me, you're probably thinking, I hope everyone was safe. I hope their houses were fine. I hope they were not electrocuted. But the video had these people dancing in the water. You could see children dancing. And then the worst part was there was a lady who had carried a sack. I think she had dumped her trash in it. And she was emptying the trash in the running water, the flowing water, so that it can just go away from her yard. And in the same video, you have kids dancing in the same water. And you start thinking, how is this happening in 2025? How? Honestly, how is this happening? And when I showed my colleagues in my office, one said, oh no, this is because of climate change. No, the systems are bad. They need to have drainages and all this. And they don't have them now. What can they do now? No one else was thinking this is a communication problem. And I think that's where my skill comes in. And this is how I'm able to think about how best do we make these people understand the need for them to protect themselves before the government has to come in, before the institutions have to come in. That shouldn't be happening. There's a lot of health issues that's surrounding that, and they shouldn't be playing in floods and draining their trash in the same floods.
Do you think we spend enough time and investment into the behavioral change communication around sanitation, around water, around our waste management, be it fecal sludge or solid waste? Do you think that's where the investment? We hear a lot about the infrastructure, and the infrastructure is quite costly. Communication is not as costly as infrastructure, but what do you see? Do you think we're doing enough?
No. The problem or the solution with communication is it's constant. It never stops. At every stage that you're at, it never stops. But you see a lot of the infrastructure being built without consultation with the community, and in our cultures especially, there's a mindset change that needs to happen before you bring these toilets. You know that they need these toilets. They haven't had an issue with not having a toilet. So how do you now bring these two ideas together and make sure that we're all managing our safety in a productive way? A lot of the times, we're very reactive in the way we control the situations. We go all the way, get the toilets, get the systems running. When people are not using them, when there's disease, is when you want to have communication specialists come in and say, you have a toilet, please conserve your water, please use the toilet. But in the beginning, you didn't think about consulting the community or having communication surveys to understand exactly how they can use these facilities before you bring them to them. So it's very reactive in the way we operate in a lot of African countries, actually. And it's very, very important that communication is constant.
Would you invite, or is there something that you think young people who are either looking at mass communications to think about sanitation, to think about entering a space that is really around behavior change communications? Because there's a side of comms, of course, that's commercial, that's marketing, that is PR. I mean, right now, everybody's trying to be an influencer or trying to push for influencers. What would you say to young people that are interested in mass communication or interested in PR to invest or not invest their time? I don't know if you do feel like there's more of them should be in this field, in sanitation, in water, in hygiene, in terms of what that can do for the development of Zambia?
Yeah, the sector especially doesn't have enough communications people. Just that simply is a big, big issue. Everyone needs at least 2-3 communications people that are willing and able to help push the agenda of change forward. In the age of new media as well, their TikTok, their whatever they're doing, they can play a role. It's a social issue. Whether you're in the sector or not, it really does concern you. And I like how the cholera chain goes. You think because I don't have slums, because I have a functioning toilet, I'm fine. But you have workers that come to your home that could be in contact with cholera. You have your children playing outside. You're not always with them at this time, and you will be affected one day. So it's something that I think is a social problem. No matter how young professionals in communications would like to see it, whether directly joining the sector or just working around the social issue that exists, that's WASH basically. They need to invest their time. It is an investment. It's very, very much a heavy investment to think about creative ways of bringing people on board with you and making sure you work together. It's really an investment in whatever field you might be. And it's a very, very fulfilling investment as well to work in sanitation, in water, wherever you are. So I would encourage them to join.
Amazing.
Thank you.
It's not, you're in it, you see the value, you see how important it is, and you see the impact it can have. But it remains something that's not sexy. So, as a PR professional, how would you sexify sanitation?
How would I sexify sanitation? It doesn't even go in the same sentence.
Hey, I'm pushing you here. How would you sexify
doesn't
sanitation?
go in the
What
same
would you say?
sentence. Being clean is sexy. Let's try that.
Perfect line. Being clean is sexy.
That works.
That does work. On that note, I do want to end by asking you, Mandamu, what are you in service of?
I'm in service of helping people understand the need, whatever the need is on the policy side, whether it's advising governments on what the community needs, and on the other side, ensuring that these people understand their role, their responsibility in the bigger picture of things. I'm in service of helping people understand.
Thank you.
Thank you.